She was the rising star with the golden voice, the girl who had it all figured out, or so it seemed. But behind the glitz, the Grammys, and the glowing headlines was a young woman fighting battles no one could see. From emotional manipulation to financial control, Coco Jones nearly lost herself in the name of love, fame, and survival. This is the real story. Not the filtered one, not the red carpet version, but the truth Coco never hid, just protected. From heartbreak and hidden roommates, to reclaiming her voice and walking away from everything she thought she needed. This is how Coco Jones cut the strings, found her power, and reminded the world who she really is. There had been whispers swirling online, rumors of Coco Jones and NBA star Donovan Mitchell being more than just friends. And when the two showed up to a concert, hand in hand, dressed alike, the internet lit up. In a sit-down talk show interview, Coco was asked directly about it. The host chuckled, recounting the moment. "You said it was nothing, but holding hands, matching outfits. Come on now." Coco laughed, unbothered. "That's hilarious. I love the internet. They always clock my tea," she said. "It's like living in a spy movie, little detectives everywhere." But then, she turned reflective. "You know, I'm happy," she admitted. "And my music? That's where I tell my truth. Some parts one share, others I keep to myself. This is my life too." When the host asked whether she preferred a private or public love life, Coco was clear. "I'm not into secrecy, but I'm also not trying to live my whole life on a stage. I give so much already, in music, in acting, in everything I do. Some things I keep sacred." As the conversation deepened, the host asked Coco if she could ever date someone outside of the celebrity world. "Absolutely," she said without hesitation. "Honestly, I don't even like the celebrity lifestyle that much myself. If I ended up with someone who's just normal, that would be fine with me." For Coco, it's never been about fame or public status. What mattered was something deeper, being seen and heard for who she truly is, Courtney, not just Coco Jones. "I want to know that if I walk away from it all, the career, the fame, the lights, you're still rocking with me," she said. "I shouldn't have to perform in a relationship. I already do that for work. I need someone real." And when the topic of first dates came up, her answer was refreshingly grounded. "The movies? Absolutely not. I don't want to sit next to a stranger in silence." She laughed, then continued, "Take me to dinner. Somewhere quiet. I ask a lot of questions, so I need to talk. Candles, wine, dim lighting, something intimate. No double dates, no distractions." The conversation took a deeper turn when the host brought up the timeless debate, gender roles in modern relationships, particularly the idea of whether the man should be the head of the household. He cited older generations and wondered where Coco stood on the spectrum as a millennial or Gen Z woman. Coco didn't hesitate to offer her truth. "To me, women have it harder. Period," she said. "We're balancing hormones, career, emotions, everything. A man will never fully understand what that feels like inside. So how could it ever be completely equal?" She wasn't saying she didn't believe in partnership, quite the opposite. But Coco emphasized that balance doesn't always mean 50-50 in numbers. It's about understanding what each person brings to the table. "If we're both going to work 9 to 5, who's cooking? Who's cleaning? Who's handling the emotional weight?" she asked. "I want to be successful. I want to look good, stay soft, stay feminine. But I'm not trying to be Superwoman on all fronts. That's exhausting." Then, with a knowing smile, she added, "So yeah, I'm okay with the man being the head of the household. That's my tea." Coming from a traditional Southern background, Coco grew up seeing that model work. It shaped her values. "I have so many decisions to make in my career," she explained. "I don't want to come home and still have to lead everything in my personal life. I want to feel protected too. That doesn't mean I'm weak. It just means I'm human." When asked if she had ever introduced a boyfriend to her dad, she laughed nervously. "Not often," she said. "Honestly, I don't bring people home unless it's serious. If my dad meets you, you must be special." The host pushed further. Were the guys ever nervous meeting her father? After all, Coco's family has a legacy of its own. "I wouldn't say nervous. I mean, I pick men who are confident," she explained. I have high standards, so if someone gets that close to my world, they probably earned that spot. My family knows I don't play about who I bring around. It's never just casual." As the spotlight dimmed on relationship talk, the host pivoted, curious about Coco's origin story. Specifically, her bold decision to move to Los Angeles at just 17. A question many had wondered: what were her parents thinking? But for Coco, it wasn't as dramatic as it sounded. LA wasn't a mystery, it was a second home. She had been flying back and forth from the time she was 9, auditioning, recording, getting her feet wet in the industry. "For us, LA was where you go to work if you want this," she explained. It was just known. Still, no amount of familiarity could prepare her for the reality of living there alone. The glamour faded quickly. Life got hard. "There's a kind of delusion you need to have to survive out there," Coco admitted. "I went in thinking, once I get there, it's up." I needed to believe that. That blind optimism kept me moving forward. But the years rolled on. 5, 6, 7, 8, and success didn't come in the way she imagined. Why didn't she give up? "Because I still had a little money," she joked, then turned sincere. "Because I wanted it so bad. I wasn't going to leave until I absolutely had to." Her life became a cycle of downsizing, re-strategizing, and enduring. She moved in and out of apartments, brought in roommates, and not always ideal ones. At one point, she lived in a large shared space with 2 girls and 2 guys. "My mom didn't know that," she chuckled. "It wasn't just all guys, though. It was respectful, but it was also wild. None of them knew she was famous. Not at first. I liked it that way," she said. "I didn't want people to treat me different. But then my clips started going viral during the pandemic, and they were like, 'Wait, is that you?'" Despite the embarrassment and odd interactions, she stayed. She was determined to hold on. But underneath that persistence was a storm of emotional chaos. A toxic relationship, career setbacks, creative blocks, and mental exhaustion. "I was in a relationship that was deeply manipulative," she revealed. "It was like if I wanted my music video funded, he'd use that to control me. 'Oh, you need studio time? Cool, but what are we?' It was all transactional." She didn't even realize how deeply entangled she was until it all came crashing down. When the relationship ended, the financial support vanished too. He literally called the producers and said, "I'm not paying for this anymore." And they came to me like, "What's going on?" That's when I had to tell the truth. The experience was humiliating, but clarifying. "There were strings in me I didn't even know existed," Coco said, her voice heavy. "It was like I had to perform emotionally to survive. And I realized, I'd rather be broke than feel that again. I'm out. Done." She began the painful but necessary process of detaching. Emotionally, financially, spiritually, bit by bit, she reclaimed herself. Rock bottom has a way of clarifying things, stripping away illusions, draining out the noise, and leaving only the raw truth. For Coco Jones, that crash was more than just professional or romantic, it was spiritual. After pulling herself out of the toxic relationship that once financed her career in exchange for emotional compliance, she came to a powerful realization: money does not equal happiness. "That relationship made me feel like I was on a string," she said. "Every time I needed support, it came with conditions. It was like, 'You want that music video? Cool, but now I own a piece of your soul.'" For a time, she rationalized it, told herself maybe that's just how the industry works. Maybe this was normal. But the deeper she sank into that logic, the more she lost herself. Until one day she didn't. When it all fell apart, when he pulled the plug, "I had no choice but to tell everyone what had really been going on," Coco said. "It was embarrassing, so embarrassing. The producers, the team, everyone I respected now had to hear how I let myself get caught in this web." But sometimes, truth is the only cure. And through that mess, Coco began cutting the cords, one at a time. The emotional ties, the need for validation, the reliance on others for her dreams. She reconnected with the girl who moved to LA believing the sky was the limit. And slowly, the fog began to lift. That season taught her more than any hit record or red carpet ever could. It taught me that if I don't have peace inside, no amount of money or fame will fix that, she said. If I'm not whole, everything I build will just feel hollow. Now, when people see Coco Jones, they see the success, the Grammy wins, the sold-out shows, the big stage moments. But behind the curtain is a woman who fought for every inch of freedom she has. She's still that girl from the South, traditional, grounded, and proud of her roots. But she's also evolved. She's learned how to protect her peace, guard her heart, and build a life that reflects her truth, not just her image. "I give a lot to this industry," she said, "but what I keep for myself, that's sacred. That's mine." And perhaps that's Coco's greatest lesson of all. You don't have to give away your soul to shine. Coco Jones is more than a voice, more than a look, more than a name trending on social media. She's a survivor, an artist who rose from manipulation, isolation, and near rock bottom, and built herself back from the inside out. She found the courage to walk away from toxic love, to protect her peace, and to hold on to her purpose. And now, she's doing it on her terms, privately, powerfully, and unapologetically. So the next time you hear her sing, know that every note is backed by a story, every lyric by lived experience. This is Coco's era, not defined by pain, but by growth. If this inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, what part of Coco's story hit you the hardest? Until next time, stay real, stay rising.